Alrighty then. According to a helpful sword online, hopefully, this should have fixed it. I'm not 100% sure if it did, but we'll find out. So I'll get into the... try to get more into the units on this one. So, as far as archers go, for this kind of run, we'll definitely be using archers. Frankly, they're needed. They're by far the most broken class. Basically, they have the most range, they've got pretty ridiculous damage. No. Okay, that did not fix it at all. Crap. So, yeah, they've got pretty ridiculous damage. Their whole kind of purpose is supposed to be harassment. Now, under normal circumstances, when they get their weapon proficiency up pretty much to anywhere, they become just unstoppable. They can't miss in a lot of cases. Like, they'll be in the middle of a thunderstorm, like, aiming at somebody they can't even see, and, yeah, they'll just hit them, no problem. Just 100% accuracy. But it looks like we're mostly going to be dealing with 70s. Like, this is perfect weather. And, pretty much same level. They don't have any giant evasion bonuses or anything. But I've got a feeling our accuracy is not going to be fantastic. Because that's about as good as it's going to get. Like, I'm fairly confident later on we're going to get to the point of having, like, 20% accuracy for some shots. So now, the reason behind the 3 classes, and the reason I'm going to try to keep to around there, if you stick with only one class, by the time you get to level 30, which is going to happen about halfway through the game, you run into what I call level 30 wall. Suddenly, everybody ramps up to post-game items. So you go from absolutely curb-stomping everyone, to suddenly you're looking around and, you know, they're friggin' wearing stuff made out of unicorns and crap, and after they were just in standard medieval Europe. So stuff gets weird really fast. They expected nobody to get past 30 for endgame, so that's just the trigger. And yeah, the entire game up to that point is just running around one-shotting people. So, if you do 2 classes, you just wind up generally overpowered, but it's still not quite enough. Like, if you do knights and archers, that's probably a pretty practical way to do it. But then if you end up doing any of the extra stuff, you might end up still stuck kind of close to that wall. I generally try to keep it around 3 so that there isn't a need for grinding and everything still goes as it needs to. You can pretty much grind at any point that you want to. Now, this is why I want these guys to be using spears. They can't get countered. Now, early on, these guys won't actually have the ability to counter, but they'll get that pretty quick. And I will be hoping to get a full party pretty soon. Like, I'll be getting another archer and knight off the next fight. Then I'll just add or remove people as they die. There it goes. Another reason that I like to stick to these 3 classes, the knights are very unlikely to die, and the archers and fencers are some of the classes that you can replace. So in most cases it won't actually make sense for me to go through and fight everyone like I am right now. But I just want to get this Lambert guy out of the way. I may end up actually getting rid of the knights later on. Maybe in favor of dragoons or something. Because I'd like them to be able to use two-handed weapons, and knights can't quite do that. Because they will be the frontliners, and as much as I want them to sit there and tank, they're just really slow. So I might end up setting up a kind of evasion type of thing with fencers. That's still pending. Now, as far as buffs go to characters, I'll try to collect as many of these cards as I can. They're the only way that they're going to be getting any buffs, and actually doing more fighting won't do much help because, well, they don't really have any skills to raise. Normally you raise your skills by using the relevant weapons and such. So, kind of funny note, when I was looking through and seeing what they actually had available for tech support on this game, it looks like people had to go through some utter shenanigans back in 2013 for this. When people were emulating this back then, apparently they had to go through a thing where they had to go through the settings and turn certain options on and off over and over. Like, every time that they transition between a fight and the map, so this is definitely better than it used to be, that's for sure. Okay, that is not helpful, Canopus. So one of the fencers is probably going to lose one of his lives here. So one aspect to the knights that's a little bit different from the original. In the original, it was kind of RuneScape rules in which everything that wasn't magic related just took a crap ton of magic damage all the time, and mages themselves were usually pretty dang squishy. In this one, they're still squishy, it's just that the knights are basically resistant to everything. They're all around an absolute tank. Yep, sorry Edbert. It's fine, as long as one of your class is still here. All good. So since there's no skills to kind of cannibalize into people, and pretty much just, if anyone dies, they're just going to be kept around. You pretty much just get a deceased icon, and then you have the option to cannibalize them, but instead they're just going to be passed out in the menu forever. And have a little gravestone. And Vice is going to punch out a wizard. Such things happen. Unfortunately, no level 4s yet, but hopefully that'll happen next time. And I intend to make Canopus here into an archer right away. I got that extra mark. And that way they can use their great bows. So, I guess I might as well show what I was talking about as far as the settings go. So over here now, in the top right, that buffered rendering is what used to be turned on and off over and over between different menus. Now, simulating the block transfer effects, that was the big one as far as lag went when I was doing on this. I tried frame skipping, but then that just freaked out absolutely. There was nothing to be done about that. It was flickering and freaking out and going nuts. I thought it was all good after it started running, but it just got crazier and crazier, and then I just restarted this whole thing. As far as the post-processing shader, I haven't really noticed anything different going on from these. I mean, apparently they're supposed to help with the effects. I haven't really noticed them doing anything for this particular game. But, who knows? Yeah, it's just making it run slower is all it's really doing. It's weird, because this computer I'm using can do a lot of different stuff, but for some reason on emulation stuff it gets weird. This guy can be an archer. He has a different set of classes as they are. Alright, now that I'm thinking about it, it might be better to have him as a fencer. No, but I need the archers to level up. I'll swap them later. You kind of have more lock-in with this game than most like it. Like, if you're playing normally, most of your skills won't transfer between classes, and although you kind of get like a general pool, you basically just have an amount at the bottom and that goes between all classes, so I guess that's an improvement over FFT, but everything else isn't. Like trajectory, okay, I like that as a skill. I don't like this whole tiered item stuff. Like, some of them I can understand tiering, like, you know, counterattacks and stuff like that. It's too gamey is the problem. A lot of them are... They don't really make sense. Like, there's one for, like, Terror Knights, for example. Their whole deal is they're supposed to demoralize and scare people. So they have, like, one of their moves, okay, it scares, like, 6 people around them and they start to suck. That's awesome. Unfortunately, you look at some of the other ones that cost even more, and it's stuff like, okay, you can get rid of a shadow, and nobody ever uses shadows other than, like, 2 battles, and then it's as simple as hitting them once. There's no need to have a skill to remove them. I mean, they have 3 health. Pretty much nothing can hit under that. And basically just punch them down, and that's it. And nonsensical. Actually, you can throw a rock. It's even better than the skill there. Alright. So... I probably should have bought rings to buff everybody, but... Coulda, woulda, coulda. So this is the first one that, I'm not exactly sure how it's gonna go. Like, if this doesn't end up working out right, then I might end up going and grinding up that extra level for Great Bows. And yeah, so, yeah, it's 15 years since the remake when this came out, and, yeah, they just kind of pass it off as a joke on this one, that it's 15 years since he killed a skeleton. And they can't just be exercised while they're standing anymore. No! They made the best song lag, too? Oh, this is awful. This isn't gonna work. Alright, I gotta fix this.